Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about installing the latest Pop! OS 21.04 in our system. This procedure will be the same for other distro installations which are based on Ubuntu. So if this is what you're looking for, stick through the video. As a bonus, I will be showing how to install the OS into two drives, a SSD for the OS having root and all other partitions, and a HDD for the home partition where you store all your personal files and your application configurations. So let's go ahead and download the ISO file. Firstly, I'm heading to the System76 website and you can see the Pop! OS option here. Click on it and it will redirect to the download page of the Pop! OS. You can see that we have the option to download it from here. Click on it and there are two variants of the iOS file, one for the NVIDIA GPU drives and another for AMD and Intel. Since I'm using an NVIDIA drive, I'm going to download this. If you are using Intel or AMD, please download the appropriate ISO. Since I have already downloaded the ISO file, I'm not going to download it again. So as the next step, let's go and make a bootable live USB. To create a bootable USB, I'm using a software called USB Flasher, which is pre-installed in Pop! OS. If you're trying to create a bootable USB from Windows, Mac OS, or from any other Linux distros, there are applications like Etcher, Rufus, Usenet Bootin to complete this process. A link to such applications are available in the description down below. So in the USB Flasher, select the ISO file that we have downloaded. After that, click on the next tab. In here, you have the options to select the USB that you want to make bootable. After selecting, click next. You will get a prompt asking for password to complete the task. Be sure that you have taken a backup of the USB before proceeding. Since this will erase all the data in the device, make sure you have a backup. After this process is complete, the USB will be formatted and made bootable. So let us wait for this process to complete. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and a subscription to the channel will be so kind. Now that the process is complete, we must boot into this USB from the BIOS setup or from boot menu. For my system, F2 is the hotkey to access the BIOS. It might be different from system to system. You can verify it by searching your system model in Google. Now let us boot into the USB. We are in the live USB and the first window that prompts is the installer of the OS. If you don't get this window, you can always open this application from the application menu. So let us continue with the installation. I will be selecting the default values for the upcoming language and keyboard layout choice. So this is where we are making a choice on how to install the OS. The first option is to clean install, which completely erases all your data in the hard drive and installs the OS. This is completely fine to use if you have a fresh drive. Note that this will erase all your data, so make sure you got a backup before proceeding with this option. The second option is the refresh install. In case you already have Linux installed in your system and something went wrong with the settings or some problems have occurred which you couldn't retrieve back to its original profile, then you can use this method to reinstall the OS without losing your user accounts and files. But please note that this will erase all the applications installed in the system, but the configuration files which are saved in the home directory will not be affected, which means you can reinstall the applications and the settings and the profiles of those applications will not be affected. But still, it is recommended to have a backup. Lastly, we have the third option to install manually, which is what I'm going to choose. This is where we can play around with our drives and make changes to it. As you can see here, 3 drives are shown for me, but this will be different for you. So from here on, to make changes to these drives, we have to click the modify partition button down below. This opens the application called gparted, from where we can make all the changes to our hard drives. So first, I'm selecting my HDD from the drop menu up here, and next I'm deleting all the partitions in it. After making changes, click the apply button shown with the tick icon to apply the changes. Make sure you have nothing to lose in your drive. After confirming this step, there is no turning back. All of my partitions have been deleted, so now let's create two partitions for my new system. Right click on the bar here representing unallocated space and click on New. Adjust the space according to your need and make sure to set the file systems as ext4. Then click on Add. Now I am creating another partition with rest of the space as my secondary storage. Here, if you want your secondary storage to share files between Windows and Linux while dual booting, make sure to set the file system as NTFS. Since I don't use Windows in my system, I am going with ext4. Now click on the drop menu and select the secondary drive for the root directory, which is SSD in my case. I am deleting all the partitions it has and applying these changes. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and a subscription to the channel will be so kind. With this complete, let us create 3 partitions for this SSD. Firstly, create a 1 GB partition for the boot directory and make sure to set the file systems to ext4. Now create next partition for the root directory and also make sure to create a size for this partition by leaving behind at least 4 GB of space for the next partition. Select the file system to ext4, then click on Add. Lastly, we create the swap partition for rest of the size and select the file system to swap. Make sure everything is created as per your need and apply the changes to create the partition. Now let us wait for this process to complete. Everything is set to go, so let's close this application and go back to the previous window. In here, select the 1 GB partition, click Use Partition option and select Use as Boot and Format. Now select the next partition, click Use Partition option, select Use as Root or / and Format. Select the last partition, click on Use Partition option, select Use as Swap. Now on the next drive, click one of the partition, select Use Partition, Use as Home and format it. I'm leaving the next partition without making changes so that I can use it for storage purpose. Now we have created and assigned the boot partition, root partition, swap partition and the home partition. If you're not using 2 drives as me, create all the partitions in the same drive. Now I'm going to click on Erase and Install. In this next window, type the username and system name in here. Click Next. In here, create a password for your system, then click on Next. The installation have started, so let us wait for this to complete. While this process is going on, comment your reaction on installing Linux for the first time down below. If you guys encounter any problems while installing Linux distros, you can always ask for help in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and a subscription to the channel will be so kind. Now that the installation is complete, let us go ahead and shut down the system. While shutting down your system, please remove the live USB before restarting it. So let's go ahead and boot into our new system. I have booted into the newly installed system and this is the first window that pops up when we boot in. Click on Next. I'm choosing the default options, but feel free to play around with the settings as you can always change this later. Then click on Next and it asks for a preferred dock type. I'm choosing the last option, but you can choose the option that suits your workflow. Click on Next. and here select your privacy preference, your time zone, and connect any social accounts to your system. With this walkthrough, the installation is complete and we are in our Pop! OS 21.04. If you have watched this video till here, thank you so much, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and a subscription will be very helpful.